This is the Goods Fam live on Twitch. I'm Philly Good, and we're going to be back on the MPCX today. We're going through the MPC Bible, so if you have it and you have the tutorial files, you can follow along and do it with me. So right now we're at chapter 27, which is adding vocals and exporting beats, and we've already gone through most of the chapter. Right now we're going to be exporting your work. That's the title of where we're at. So if you're new here, please don't forget to follow and hit the notification bell to let you know when I'm here. I switch my schedule during the week to 4:30 to 5:30 a.m. I haven't done it last week. I was just getting things set up, got some new settings and everything figured out for the live stream, so things can go a little more smoothly. And I expect this week 4:30 to 5:30 a.m. I will be there. And as always on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday, I'm here 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so you can catch me here again tomorrow at 10 a.m. But if you have your files loaded up, I have the RPG Final loading up. I believe that should be good enough for what we're going to do right now. We're going to be exporting your work. So you've written a great track, mixed it down, tweaked it, and polished it. Now what? How do we get your masterpiece out of the MPC? So in menu, we're going to hit the save. I'm going to see what it looks like actually in the dark here, just so you can guys, yeah, you guys can see everything with the glow. It's still pretty visible. Okay, so we're gonna hit menu, hit the save, and choose audio mixdown. Alright, so audio mixdown. Here you can easily create a stereo master, which is effectively a stereo bounce of your entire song into an audio format of your choice. By default, the audio length is set to cover your entire song. The audio tail is used to ensure that the export captures the sounds that continue to play after the sequencer is stopped. This could include reverb and delay tails and long one-shot samples, for example. I tend to set this to at least 3 seconds. Me personally, I set it to much longer because I find there's always something that happens after the end of the song with the effects and things like that. So under the render source, let's see, render source, where are we? Render source, okay, right here. So under render source, you choose exactly what type of export you're looking for. To create a stereo master, we just need the stereo output checked, and for this song tail, and for this song, and as all our sounds have been left to the default output routing configuration, we can leave this set to out 1, 2. Alright, so using render options, which is on this side, you can see that you have the option to include your master inserts, which is checked already, ensuring that any insert effects added at the master stage are applied to the mixdown. Finally, select the audio format you wish to export in. Okay, so traditionally you would probably choose wave format, which is what I have it set up as here, with perhaps a bit depth of 24, which I have already, and a sample rate of 44.1 kilohertz, or you can do a 48 kilohertz. This will produce a high quality stereo master for distribution. But you can also select output into 2 other lossless audio formats: AIFF, generally only used in Macs, and FLAC. You can also choose a lossy file output of either MP3 or OGG for distribution where file size is potentially more important than sound quality. To create your stereo master, simply hit export and choose a location for the WAV file to be saved to. So I'm going to change the audio tail on this to about 5 seconds and leave everything set up as it is. And we're going to export. Now we're going to choose a location. I'm going to choose the location that I've always been choosing for my exports, which has been, I believe, yeah, that's it here in the exports in here. So I'll save it there as the RPG final as we had it listed. Remember, any files saved to the internal factory drive are not accessible from a computer, so make sure you have an attached disk such as an SD card, USB drive, or if you have one, an internal SATA drive. I have all of those attached to mine just because I want the maximum, I guess, flexibility. Whenever I'm doing something, I have the option to just pop out the SD card for certain things, or I can take off the USB drive for certain things, or I have the internal drive that will connect to the computer whenever I need something. That's where I save most of my stuff, is on that internal drive, the extra one that I paid to get installed into it after I bought the machine. So if you get that SATA drive, that's probably your best choice. But also having these SD cards and USB drives, they're super super awesome and gives you flexibility to do what you want. So this way you can copy your mix down to your computer by connecting via USB and simply dragging the exported files over. So please see Appendix B for more details on connecting to your computer and using attached disks. So they want me to do that right now, so I'll save it here in the exports file like I usually do. So it's exporting the sequence now, and now we're going to connect to the computer. Go into controller mode, and once I'm in controller mode, I'm gonna see on my screen, you might be able to see it up here in the tiny screen of what I'm seeing in front of me, the additional drives that are connected to the MPCX. See, they start popping up in the corner there, so I know that they're connecting. They're asking me to scan them, but I don't need to scan them. I know what's on them. So I just go into my File Explorer, open that up, and in the File Explorer, I can go down to the drive that I had saved it to, the one that had the MPCX. And it was under that folder with the exports, and I see it here, so I go down to the RPG final and it's right in there as I expected. So now that it's exported onto that disk, I can take it from that drive that's connected to the MPCX, which is connected to the computer now, so I can take that file, and a lot of the times I'll just go to the OneDrive. I'll right click, go to OneDrive, and just hit move to OneDrive, and then for me it automatically goes into my personal OneDrive. Hey Retro Forward, good to see you, man. Glad you could pop in here. Anybody else that's in here, please jump in the chat and chat with the other viewers. I'm trying to get 5 people chatting at once. That's one of my main goals. So thank you for joining in the chat, Retro Forward. And anybody that's watching, please check out Retro Forward if you live stream and you need your little emoticons or whatever to get set up for your stream, or if you want new ones done. He makes really cool ones. He's working on a set for me right now, so yeah, really excited to be working with him, and you should check him out if you're looking for that kind of stuff, some graphic work. Yeah, he's your man. Hey Andrew, thank you for popping in the chat. Yes, we just need a few more people in the chat all at once, and I'll have hit that goal for the first time. I believe we're getting a lot more viewers now because I've set up the stream to go to different platforms. So it's going to Trovo, and now I'm on YouTube in both horizontal and vertical modes. So that's drawing in more viewers that way. So yeah, good to hear, man. I like the ones you've made so far. So once you've tweaked them a little bit and maybe make them a little bit better quality, yeah, I think they're gonna really look awesome. He takes the direction really well on what you want for your emoticons, so he can really make it specific to what you're looking for and what you need, which is great. So yeah, I'm in here. I've now taken my exported file, and I'm gonna go check in my OneDrive on my phone just to see if it's showing up there. And once I go in here and go down to the RPG, I don't see it in there quite yet. There, it just popped up. So RPG Final is now in my files. So I've successfully exported that. And I wonder if it'll play on my phone right now if I play it out loud. I'm just gonna shut down the live stream on my phone to see if it'll actually play this sequence. It may not, because I've left the sequence as the file type. I'm not sure, because I usually turn it into a song before I export it, but it should play just the same. But it's not working as expected. Let me just try it one more time. Oh, here we go. I think it's gonna play it for me now. It's just taking a minute for the first time. I do find that for the very first time after you've exported a file, it may take a minute or two to get it going. But I believe it's got it here. Let me see if the volume's up. Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. So I've successfully exported that sequence, and it's now in my OneDrive on my phone, accessible to all my devices. I'm just gonna close that on my phone and pull up the Twitch stream again just to go back to the chat. So yeah, that's basically how it goes to export a file. So now that that's done, I can close all of my File Explorer. Actually, I'm going to leave one open, and I've got to go into each drive that's connected to my MPCX, and I've got to successfully eject from each one of them. Because when I eject, it protects the drive. Whenever I disconnect the MPCX, it won't have any issues where it might corrupt the files or damage them. So everything's been successfully ejected, and I'm just going to close that, and then I hit standalone, go back into standalone. It gives you the warning letting you know that you should eject or it may cause damage to the file system. I've already ejected, so I'm going to hit yes, and then I go back into my standalone mode. Now, a lot of you producers out there, you may prefer to stay in controller mode. I'm the type of guy that's always preferred to be standalone. Just, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm new to it, but I've never really taken to being a guy that likes playing with the software. I may in the future, but for now it's just not what I'm into. But I do see other producers out there that are straight controller mode the whole time, so it's really a personal preference, and I don't see any difference either way, other than you may have additional plugins and features that you can use when in controller mode. But seeing as I'm new, I'm still getting used to all the features that are available just in the standalone, so to me that's all I need. So that's all been done. Now I'm going to go back here and see what's left in the instructions. Alright, so exporting track stems. While it's a fantastic sampling groove box, the MPC has some way to go before it can compete with some of the more mature feature-packed digital audio workstations, DAWs, such as Logic Pro and Pro Tools. So it's very common for producers to track their MPC songs over to their favorite DAW to complete the entire composition in that highly optimized environment, which is what I was just saying. Like, some people will prefer having their songs go through a DAW on the computer so that they have these extra features and options available that you don't get on the standalone to really tweak and make a professional piece of music. But for me, as I'm new, I still don't I don't understand all of these small differences, so I'm sure in the future I'll tap into all of that, or maybe I'll learn it by the end of the MPC Bible. And then in the coming streams, there's probably, you know, a few more left, a few chapters that I haven't really tapped into, so that may be one of them. Alright, so let's see. Transferring to a DAW requires we first convert, okay, it looks like we are going to get into it right now. We first convert each and every track in our song into separate audio tracks. These audio tracks are then imported into your DAW where you can continue the mixing process. Okay, so it says to return to the export screen. So menu, save. Okay, so we're at the export screen. This time, instead of stereo output as render source, select explode tracks. Okay, I haven't done this before, so this is new. Something cool that we're checking out for the first time. I'm just going to take a sip of coffee here before we get into this. It seems interesting. All right. Oh, nice. So now the stream chat is working for me in my Streamlabs. I had some setting that wasn't set up properly before, and I could never see it on the screen. that really changes things. That adds to being able to see what's going on here. Yeah, I like that a lot. So it looks like we only have one viewer on Twitch right now, but I just want to give a shout out to my most recent follower on Twitch, the Average Joe. His screen's on or his name's on the top of the screen there. So if you can, please go follow him. Apparently, he's a fellow producer and most likely an MPC user from what I gather. So yeah, go check him out. I'm going to check him out in the future too. So let's get back into what we were doing here. Okay, so this will create a rendered audio track for each unique track in your sequence. So after rendering, you will have separate audio files for the kick track, snare track, hats, bass, piano, guitar, FX1, FX2, the reverse piano sound, and the pad sound, and so on. Now we can see the massive benefit of ensuring each track in our sequence contains only events for a particular instrument, which is what I've learned to do from the very start. Shout out to Poli Popo on YouTube, who taught me how to do that and to have each sound as its own separate track. It really helps to organize and to help mute things out whenever you're making it into a song. So definitely one of the biggest tips I've learned when I was brand new. So once inside your DAW, you're still going to retain maximum independent control over every element in your mix. You can also optionally select to export returns, which will provide you with separate audio files for the affected returns data, which in the example in this chapter was our medium room reverb and a delay. So use this if your final DAW bass mixdown just doesn't sound right without the exact effects you used inside the MPC. And as we mentioned in the previous section, remember to export your stems to an attached disk and not the internal factory drive. That way you can easily connect your MPC to your computer via USB and drag and drop the waves directly into your DAW. Project previews. If you check the Save as Project Preview option, the MPC will instead create an audio file that will be saved inside your current project folder for the sole purpose of creating an audio review, or preview, when you initially select your project file in the browser, assuming you have Audition enabled. This is worth doing for each and every project you create, as it gives you an instant reminder of what the project sounds like before loading. Interesting. Let me just reread that one more time. This is worth doing for each and every project you create, as it gives you an instant reminder of what the project sounds like before loading. Oh, okay, I get you. Whenever you're going through your files, I do have one of them that does have the preview on it, and I was wondering why it always played the preview for that one file but not the rest, and it's because of this. So you can save as project preview with that tick box right there, and then when you're going through your files, it'll give you a little preview of what it used to sound like, so you don't have to load the file to actually hear what it is, which is, yeah, that's a great tip. So glad I read that through a second time to really understand what that meant, because that's definitely something I'm going to do from now on. Because once you got 50, 70, 100 tracks that you've made, and you're going through the old ones, you don't remember anything what it sounds like. So it can be time consuming to load one after the other, trying to find something you're looking for, but now I get how you can bypass all that and save your time with the preview option. Okay, so let's stop going through that and take a little sip of coffee again. Anybody out there? Anybody watching? Anybody new? Please jump in the chat. We're trying to get to 5 people in the chat at once. That's one of my main goals. And also, I want to get to 50 followers. So I'm at, I believe, 34 followers right now. I need another 16. So if you're new here, it would go a long way for you to help me out. I only need a few. So every single one of you, I'm going to remember down the line as being my first Goods fam. All right. So thank you very much to all my followers. All right, let's check out this next section here. Ableton Live Set Export. So if you're looking to continue working specifically in Ableton Live, the MPC can export your entire project as an Ableton Live Set ALS project file from the main project window screen. Main folder icon. Okay, so let's see what are we doing here? If you're looking to continue working specifically in Ableton Live, you can export your entire project as an Ableton Live Set ALS project file. Where? I don't see that. Is that the format? ALS? No. What are we talking about here? Export returns. So we just went through that, but I don't see how. We're gonna go back to main, and then the folder icon. Folder icon. I don't really see the folder icon. You see a folder icon? I don't. Okay, actually it's because maybe I don't have anything loaded up in there. I think that's why. So I'm going to load up that RPG Final again just to see if the folder icon pops up, which I believe it should. Alright, so we're going to go to main. Window screen, main, folder icon. Why do I not see that? I don't know. I'm going to go to MIDI maybe. Select ALS export. Maybe because I need to be in controller mode with Ableton open. Let me try that. I'm going to open up Ableton. messed with Ableton in a long time, and I'm not really familiar with it. I never really used it much, so this is all new, and let's see if I can find it. I don't even know if I have it on my computer, honestly. I think I do. Yeah. I'm going to open that up, Ableton Live Lite 11. Once that's connected, okay, that's up. I'm going to connect the computer into controller mode again. Okay. Looks like it's connecting, but I believe I should be able to see everything again on here because Ableton should be able to be controlled from the hardware itself, although I've never done it. I hope this works out. Let's see. Yeah. Insert full screen, blah blah blah. I'm not sure it's actually connecting because unlike the MPCX software, it automatically just brings the screen back to regular screen. I don't know if I need to sync it with the MPCX somehow, but let me see. Audio input device, no input. Oh, okay. Let's change that to the MPCX maybe, if it's in the list. No, it's got the tractor showing up, but not the MPCX for some reason. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Does look like it's showing up as the Force, though. Of course, it's not on the right one. I guess there was no other option for the MPC in the list, which is weird. Okay. I guess that's what it recognizes it as, which is not exactly correct, but maybe that's why it's, I don't know. Ableton should be able to recognize an MPCX, no? I'm not really sure how to get the Ableton connected to the MPCX. So if anybody's out there that's watching and knows, please drop it in the chat. Give me a hint. I believe that it should automatically connect. I shouldn't have to go through this. But looks like there's something that I gotta do. So yeah. Audio input device, like are they just talking about microphones? Yeah, this is so strange, like how it doesn't recognize the MPCX. I feel like it should know. Let's see. There must be some sort of setting I can fix here. Takeover mode. What's that even mean? Pickup, value scaling. Let's go back to the MPC Bible here. Yeah, looks like it's just not connecting. So I'm gonna eject all these drives again, go back into standalone mode. As you can see, this is one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of going controller mode, just because there's always stuff on the computer that I just don't understand how to do, and I find it takes a lot of time to figure everything out. But I'm gonna go back in standalone and see if we can figure this out. Hey Anne, thank you for popping in. That's great. So I'm up to 3 people in the chat. If there's anybody else out there that's watching that hasn't jumped in the chat yet, please do. Trying to get 5 people. If we can get that goal achieved, that would be amazing. Again, anybody else out there that hasn't yet, please follow. Trying to get 50 followers. I'm at 34, so we're almost at our goal. Another 16 to go. Every single one of you really helps to get us there, so thank you. Please hit the follow and hit the notification bell to let you know when I'm here. I'm here every day from 4:30 to 5:30 a.m. during the week, and 10 to 11 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. That's Eastern time. All right. Thank you, Andrew, for jumping in the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to load this up again and see if I can figure out what they're talking about with the Ableton Live export Ableton Live Set project file. Okay. So if we're in main, okay, so under the save, they're sending me down all that is basically go into save, and in the save section, Ableton Live Set. You see it right there. So you can choose that, and that brings up the Ableton Live Set export, which is what I was looking for this whole time. All right. Let me take a sip of coffee and we'll get into this now that I know I'm in the right place. Also, if you're watching this live on YouTube, I'm really trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm only at like 15. So there's a long way to go, but I want to be able to get there because they don't allow you to do any live streams from a mobile device until you're at 1,000 subscribers. So if you're watching me there, please just jump on real quick, hit that subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing, so it would really help me out to expand the channel and to be able to do things that are outside of the home, so I'm not tied to doing live streams from my home computer. All right, so under audio bounce, you can choose whether to convert all MIDI tracks to pure audio tracks, which will leave your project as a collection of audio stems, or to leave them as a pure MIDI information, in which case the resulting exported Ableton Live Set will contain a mix of MIDI and audio files. Exporting as MIDI will give you more editing control within Ableton, but may also complicate matters, as any exported MIDI tracks must then be configured within Ableton to trigger the appropriate MIDI sound sources. If some of these are MPC internal plugins or sample programs, then you would need to assign the MPC VST AU plugin to those tracks in Ableton, and then configure the MPC plugin to play back the correct sounds. Wow, I didn't realize how much work it was. Wow, that sounds crazy to be able to do that. Okay, but I guess if that's what you want to do, if you want to be in controller mode in Ableton, if you're an Ableton person, I guess that makes sense to you to do all that. But for me as a standalone guy, it just seems like a lot of extra steps for playing in Ableton. I guess Ableton's got its own features that you probably don't get with the MPCX standalone, and some people are probably really used to those features and things that they use to really polish their tracks, so I can understand having to go through that to get what you want. But for me, I've never been a person to go that route, so for me, I would have to figure out what benefit there really is before I go through all that. That seems like a lot. But yeah, let's continue. By bouncing those MIDI tracks within the MPC during export, you forego any configuration headaches. However, you no longer have the same editing flexibility that MIDI tracks would give you. Fading out a song. A lot of songs are like that. They fade out at the end. So while we can perform live parameter adjustments to all parameters in the MPC, you may have noticed that the ability to write automation data is not possible in all screens. Currently, we can write automation events performed on program parameters, including some insert effect settings, MIDI tracks, and audio tracks. However, we cannot, for example, record any parameter changes made in the main outputs channel. For example, we cannot record automation applied to the main outputs. This presents a problem, for example, if you wish to gradually fade out the end of your song, which is a very common mixing requirement. While we wait for main output channel automation, the workarounds for fading a complete song are... This is something you'll probably want to take note of, because I think most people want to do this on a lot of their songs. I know I would like to do that on some of my songs for sure. So this is something I'll want to really pay attention to here. Alright, you got your pens, your pencils, your paper. Take notes. Fading each individual track separately. Okay, as it's not currently possible to group tracks together, this literally means selecting each track in the channel mixer, all MIDI and all audio tracks, and trying to record the same fade out on each track one at a time, but this does allow for some interesting multi-tree, having some things fade out at different timings or different amounts, but still have them all fade out, but have different things stand out through the fade. Could be fun. I don't know. The other option is fading a stereo export. So perform a standard stereo output export of your unfaded song as a 24-bit WAV file. You load the XL into an audio track. The audio track level can be automated. So in main, we're going to close this. So we're going to take a look a little more in depth at how they're doing this. So they were mentioning the first one was a channel mixer, and you can fade out each track one at a time. So I guess you would just like literally as the recording is playing, when it gets to the end, you would just fade out manually like this, and the recording would catch that fade, I imagine. The other option that they're talking about, they're saying, is in main. It's a fading a stereo export. So main audio, and a blank sequence of your project. So you want to load let me see this again. Perform a standard stereo output export. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to do the whole thing. I'm going to do a standard export of the unfaded track. We're going to export it as a 24-bit WAV file. Going to load the export into memory. So we're going to export it first. I see. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna export that, but yeah, I'm gonna put it in the exports like usual. We're gonna do it as a okay, save that as a different file name with the number 1 on it. So now that that's there saved, we're going to load that export into the memory in a blank sequence of the project. So we're going to go into got a lot of things in here, so just wait a sec. We're going to search for it. There it is. Okay. Why is there nothing in there? That's interesting. We're going to I see why. There it is. Alright, so from here we want to put it as we're going to load the export into memory, and in a blank sequence of your project, load this exported file into an audio track. How would I load it into an audio track? Let's see. Load the export into memory and in a blank sequence of your project. Oh, okay, wait. Wow, I'm really having a hard time thinking this through. How they did that. Okay. Looks like I just loaded it into sequence 11, whereas it didn't have that before. Okay. Alright, so I got that loaded into a blank sequence of the project. Now we're going to load this exported file into an audio track. I don't know. I don't know what they mean by that. Load this exported file into an audio track. Okay. Looks like it's got the audio tracks in there. Okay. So audio track level can be automated. So in main, audio. Oh, looks like we're at the end of our stream for today almost. I'm just going to wrap up this little section here and then we'll be done. So in main audio, enable automation writing and use the bottom Q-Link column 1 to adjust the track level to fade your track out. Okay. Now export this single audio track . Okay. Now export this single audio track sequence to create the faded master. Okay. So it says to export this single audio track sequence to create the faded master. Okay, so you would just export that and it would have the faded master on it. I didn't quite do it properly there, but I get what they're talking about. Or you can open the export in sample edit . configure the start and end to cover the last 30 seconds of the file. Okay. Then you can go process and then switch it to fade out, and you hit do it, and that's another way of fading it out. And then the last option is to export to a third-party software, so you can open your exported stereo master in an audio editor to draw a fade envelope at the end of the file, or export individual tracks to your favorite DAW, mix, master, and perform the fade there. So that's it for today. I'm going to leave it there, but we are going to raid into another channel. Let's see who we've got available to us right now. Let's see if someone I like is on here. Alright, so we're gonna head over to Nickelodeon's Who Does Dog Grooming. I hope you enjoy the dog grooming, and I hope you all have a great day. I'm just gonna go on to here, and we will end the stream at that. I'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm Philly Good. This is the Goods Fam on Twitch. Peace out, y'all. Thank you everybody who jumped in today and caught the stream. I really appreciate it. And everybody on Instagram, thank you Mom for joining on Instagram. And I hope you all have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Peace out, y'all. Okay. And everybody on Twitch who's still here, have a good day. And